There are about 20 plastic bowls that have rice and beans piled up in them, and they're just lined up on the floor because we didn't have any chairs or any tables. And so, we'd make a big old vat of rice and beans and serve it up.
Let's take it back to the beginning then and go back to the origins of Amani. Every great story has a great opening sentence. They say a novel won't work unless that first sentence is magic. So let's get to somebody now who played a huge role in building Amani from the ground up. Valerie Todd graduated from Duke University in 2002, and she spent the first 10 years of Amani's existence. Most of that, she was in charge. Now, Valerie joins us from Portland, Maine. Valerie, great to talk to you.
Great to be here.
Just tell us how Amani got going. Remind us how this wonderful organization began.
Oh, man. Yeah, and I have to say, I'm already feeling so emotional seeing just all of your names. Some of you you're just so dear to my heart, and you've loved the kids for so long, and it's so beautiful. So thank you. Gosh, well, back in the day, this 2002, 2001, there were some local Tanzanians, and they saw kids who were homeless, kids who had fled, terrible environments and home, the kind of kids who would be in foster care if Tanzania had a functioning foster care system, but it doesn't, and these folks wanted to do something, to help their neighbors. So they found a local landlord, a guy who had an extra, a single family house that he was renting out, and they rented it out. And, he didn't mind if they couldn't always make the rent. They started going onto the streets and saying, hey, kids, we don't have any beds or any chairs or any food or any supplies, but hey, there's some rooms here. And if you want to come and sleep here at night, then you can be safe and you don't have to, be scared that anything will happen while you're sleeping. And the kids who were homeless said, well, gosh, that's better than what we got now. And so that's kind of how it started. Just little kids coming at night to sleep on the floor at Amani, with each other. And then during the days going back to try to beg or work, and earn a little change so that they could feed themselves.
It was really just a kind of a shelter, somewhere to make them safe.
Right.
That's amazing. Yeah. Can you tell us about some of the challenges, or one or two of the challenges that Amani had in those very early days?
Yeah. Well, it was just hard seeing the needs and not being able to do anything about it. There's a picture I can see vividly in my mind's eye, kind of the corner of one of the rooms. There are about 20 plastic bowls that have rice and beans piled up in them, and they're just lined up on the floor because we didn't have any chairs or any tables. And so, we'd make a big old vat of rice and beans and serve it up, but we didn't actually have enough bowls for everybody. So there'd be like group A, like boarding a plane or something, group A would have their food, and then we would go and group B would have their food, and everybody would just kind of sit in the dirt, and that was it, and there were kids who were really eager to go to school, and we just said, we're so sorry. We would love to be able to send you, but we can't, there was just a lot of lack.
Can you tell us about one of the first Amani kids, Valerie?
Oh, goodness. Wow. Well, one person who springs into my mind is named Solomon. He was older. He was maybe 12 or 13 when he first came to Amani, and came from a background of poverty and kind of a village experience. And so he never had the chance to go to school before. And we had a volunteer actually from Chicago, from the States, who was there for a year. And he taught Solomon and a couple other older kids how to read. Which was awesome because, of course, they couldn't have gone to kindergarten with a 5-year-old. They would have been mortified, But Solomon got to learn to read. And then there was a local carpenter who kind of took him under his wing as an apprentice and taught him how to be a carpenter. And at the goodbye party that Amani threw for me in 2011, Solomon came with his wife and his little baby. And he was a working carpenter, and it just was amazing to see like him thriving and providing for his family and being a strong member of the community. And imagine, what would have happened to this little homeless, illiterate kid, if Amani hadn't been there. And of course, all of you on this call have been there for Solomon and so many kids like him, just turning their lives around forever, as well as the lives of, his child and his whole family. It's amazing.
In that decade, where that first decade for Amani, can you identify or remember one important turning point?
Well, I mean, it was kind of like I don't know, like the turning of a tide, like a wave. It wasn't just one point, but it was like, I went to Amani and I saw the kids and I couldn't walk away. And then there were other people who came, a lot of you guys on this call. And when you saw the kids, there was something in there that touched your heart, that meant that you didn't want to walk away either, and so kind of slowly, like this kind of wave effect, like people from around the world started caring and started wanting to do something, started doing something. And then we got like a bench, and then we got some tables, and then we started to send our first kids to school, and then we got uniforms, and then, just one thing after the other. And now there's, Amani children who've graduated from college, and, boys and girls around the country, who are growing up and taking care of their future families. It was really kind of amazing, and it's all because of you guys on this call. So you're in my hearts forever.
Valerie, excuse me, thanks for sharing your memories. I could just see those bowls of rice and beans on the floor. I mean, you really started from the ground up. And thanks, obviously, for your contribution. Amani wouldn't be where it is without you. Now, we are going to hear some amazing stories today of kids who were rescued. I mean, a lot of them wouldn't be alive now if Amani hadn't been around. We're going to start off with a kid who came in from the streets. Let's check in on the story of Livin. Let's roll it.
Kwa jina naitwa Livin Penele Akio, mzaliwa Arusha. Na vitu vingi sana nakumbuka ambavyo nilipelekea mimi kwenda mtaani. Kwanza nyumbani tulikuwa tunaishi maisha ambayo ni maisha ya shida sana. Hata ikapelekea familia ikawa imetawanyika. Ikanipelekea mimi kuelekea mtaani moja kwa moja ili kujitafutia angalau chochote. Nilikuwa mdogo sana. Nimeenda mtaani nikiwa na umri wa miaka 9. Kule mtaani nilikaa zaidi ya miaka 2. Nilikuwa napitia changamoto kweli, kwa sababu nilikuwa nalala katika mazingira magumu, nilikuwa nalala kwenye mitaro, na changamoto zingine inakuta ni kipindi cha mvua, maji yanakuwa yanakuja kwa wingi sana pale. Kuna kipindi fulani ambacho nilikuwa mtaani hivyo, kuna kijana alijitokeza akanipiga kisu cha kichwa. Niliumia sana kwa sababu sikuwa na msaada wowote wa mtu yote kunipeleka hospitali. Nilikaa sana na kile kidonda kwa maumivu kwa muda mrefu sana. Kuna mlezi mmoja ambaye alikuja wa Amani. Alipofika pale, yule mlezi akawa anatushauri kuhusu Amani. Wakanishauri kweli kuhusu mambo ya Amani. Mwisho wakaja wakanichukua pale, nikaenda nao Amani. Nilipokelewa Amani vizuri sana. Kitu cha kwanza walishughulikia na jeraha langu. Changamoto hiyo naikumbuka sana. Siwezi nikasahau katika maisha yangu, kwa sababu isingekuwa ni Amani, wengine nisingepona, kwa sababu kilikuwa kimekaa zaidi ya miezi 3 kinazidi kuoza, na mimi sikuwa na msaada mwingine wowote. Nilipofika tu Amani nilijisikia vizuri sana, kwa sababu niliona msaada mkubwa sana pale, na tulishauriwa vitu vingi sana. Tukaambiwa ukikaa vizuri ukasimama tutapelekwa shule. Ningekuwa nyumbani, huduma ya shule nisingepata kama ilivyokuwa inavyostahili. Nikasoma vizuri sana na huduma zote nilikuwa napata. Nilifurahi sana. Nikapelekwa chuo cha ufundi, nikaenda nikasomea mambo ya mechanics. Mwaka 2015 ndio nilianza kujiajiri mwenyewe, nikaanza kujitegemea mwenyewe. Nilifanya kazi ndani ya mwaka mmoja, tayari nikapata kipato ambacho kilinisaidia kujenga nyumba yangu mimi mwenyewe. Nilipambana mpaka nikafanikiwa, kwa sababu kufungua garage sio kitu kidogo. Ni kitu ambacho kinahitaji moyo sana, lakini pia nashukuru Amani sana kwa msaada wao, kwa sababu sikuwahi kutegemea kwamba maisha ninayoishi ningewahi kuishi. Sikutegemea kwamba hii ndoto ya leo ingetimia, lakini kupitia Amani ndoto yangu imetimia. Kwa kweli namshukuru Mungu sana.
I was just going to say, Andrew, it's hard to hear the stories of the hardship that people are going through.
9 years old, he was on the streets.
Yeah. And imagine someone coming at you with a knife, and then to see what's happening now. I mean, it's amazing. And I know you're going to talk more about this too, but I just wanted to say, as we're talking, again, we're seeing supporters joining in right now from Portland, Germany, Wisconsin, Toronto, Switzerland, Colorado. The global community here is really pretty impressive.
Yeah, it really is a worldwide thing. So it's stories like Livin that have kept people supporting Amani for the past 2 decades. And we are going to be hearing from a lot of those supporters during the next hour. Let's start off. We have a video showing some of those earliest donors talking about why they decided to support Amani and why they decided to go on doing so. Let's roll that.
Dear friends of Amani Children's Home, I'm Beatrice Simona. I'm a doctor in dermatology, and I have been working at the Regional Dermatological Training Center of the Christian Kilimanjaro Medical Center in the years 2001 and 2002. I met a lot of patients affected with AIDS, and they died and left behind them a lot of orphans. So we founded the Amani Children's Home for orphans and street children. When I went back home to Switzerland, I continued to support the project, and I involved the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, and the Soroptimist Club. Also my friends and my patients supported the project. I think it's very important that we go on to support Amani Children's Home. Thank you for your attention.
Hey everyone, I'm Joe Canavan, and on behalf of my wife Larissa and our children, we just want to tell you how important the work is that you're doing. We believe, after our visits to Arusha and Moshi, that this is God's work. These beautiful young people have been abused, they've been abandoned, they've been neglected, they've been thrown out on the streets to care for themselves at a ridiculously young age. And like our children, they need love, they need nurturing, they need support, they need an education. And that's what Amani does. If you want to build young people into independent adults, empower them through education, empower them with that nurturing and support that make them feel that they matter, boost their self-esteem. That's the work that Amani is doing. It's important work, it's powerful work, it's transforming lives, it's changing Tanzania and ultimately changing our world. Thank you for all that you do.
Well, hi everyone, I'm Bruce Hugh from the UK. I discovered the amazing work of Amani and Valerie back in 2005 when I visited and climbed Kilimanjaro. Ever since, I've tried in a small way to help from afar with a few funds. The opening of Singida, funded by my colleagues in Liaison, has fulfilled a duty of care I feel towards Mienda and his team, which give up so much of their lives to the street kids, affording them a chance of a richer life. Well done for keeping going so brilliantly for 20 years. It's an astonishing achievement for which you should all be proud. Keep it going.
Hi, my name is Brenda Bolins. I'm from Windham, New Hampshire. I just wanted to let everybody know why I've supported Amani for the past 20 years. They're a great organization that gives home to the homeless. They help kids get educated, and most importantly, they give them love. And Amani does that so beautifully, and I just really believe in supporting them, and I have and will continue to do so. Congratulations on your anniversary, and happiness to all of you guys.